Here we have Bitcoin, and what a pump. Let's see, we got from bottom to top about a 10%, little over 9% pump. You did have your moving averages converge against each other, and then they all retested. Soon as you popped out of that trend line, you had the fan out confirmation for your moving averages, which was one of my signals. I did take a trade here. Small trade. I got out about right here when I thought we were going to pull back down to the 21. We did not. We front ran it. Came back up. We did come down to the 21 here. Looks like we're stair stepping our way up, but do have some slight drives of bearish divergence. Looks like we could be forming a descending triangle. So let's find out what our measured move would be. Somewhere around there. So that would put us down to the neutral median line, which we would probably find some support there. I would expect a bounce. Now, if we do cross it, I would expect another bounce at the bearish control zone at the 45.0 level, and then enter it. And if we do pass this last low, I would expect us to go deep in the bearish control zone. Now, that's not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm telling you if it does. MACD right now, stair stepping its way up, had a retest twice of the signal line. Is this another retest, or are we going to cross it? Your positive momentum on your histogram is decreasing. So we could get a little cool down here. We could consolidate sideways for a minute, being held up by the 21. We're going to find out. If we do break the 21, next stop is the 50 at about 20,100. We break that, I would expect us to come all the way down to the 200. Now, if we break 19,700 on a closure, which the 100 would work its way up by the time we would get down there. So basically 19,700, I would expect this to be one massive bull trap. And then I would expect us to go down to 18K. All right, so right now your RSI is in the bullish control zone. But like I said, you got some drives of bearish divergence. We're going to find out what happens next. If we leave the bullish control zone and these bearish divergence, two drives play out, I would expect us to come all the way down to this neutral median line. BBWP, obviously, volatility has expanded. As you see, your BBWP started printing some dark red bars here, which maxed out at the 100% level. Came back down. I think we could consolidate here for a minute, but like I said, if we do break the 21, things are going to change a little bit at about 20,500. I would expect like I said, 20,100 to 20,200 by the time that 50 comes up. If we break the 50, back down to this trend line. We got a VPVR level here. We got the 200. But remember, by the time that 100 gets up here, it's going to be 19,700. That's the level. If we break that on a 1 hour closure, I would expect us to enter back into here, get a small bounce at about 19,150, come back up, retest the top of the trend line at about 19,321, somewhere in there, 19,320. And then resume down. But a lot of that's going to depend on whether we break these moving averages. If they start to curl over, that's going to be a different story. All right, let's move to the 4 hour. 4 hour bullish control zone getting rejected from the top, still above our signal line. MACD strong upside curvature, positive momentum on the histogram is increasing drastically. BBWP is still expanding. I think we're going to come up to the 100% level, still above our moving average. Whenever this turns around, that's when I would think we would consolidate a little bit. Could have a slight pullback from here, possibly down to 20,000. Let's see, possibly down to like 20,300, somewhere in there. We do just have our fan out confirmation on the 4 hour, so we have plenty of room to go up. Right now we did break out of that previous range. So I would expect some major resistance at the 21,300 level. But if we can break that, I would expect us to come all the way up to this last high at 22,800. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Let's go back down to the 1 hour and repeat the bullish and bearish case. The bullish case is that we break this last high, 21,000 on a closure. All right. Next stop would be, let's see here. Next stop would be 21,300. After that, 22,500. That's what I would be looking at. Maybe even 22,800, somewhere in between there. Bearish case is that we break 19,700. We break that, I would consider this a bull trap, and I would think we were going to 18K. All right, so let's check over here. We broke all order blocks that can be seen right now. We got a lot of hot air up above us. Stochastic is turning around from an overbought region, crossing its signal line. If we enter back into the bullish control zone, I would expect a pretty nice pullback. Like I said, possibly down to the 20,400 level, and then we'll come back to it. So that's about it for Bitcoin. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below, one being the Discord. It is the place to be. We stay ahead of this market. We talk about these moves before they happen. We figure out these markets collectively. Definitely the place to be. Definitely join the Discord. It's a good time. It's growing fast, and it's very active. Also, turn on those bell notifications so you get notified with this time-sensitive content. These videos, sometimes they don't even come out fast enough, and these moves will happen right after I put them out. All right, so definitely turn on those bell notifications. Definitely subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Tell me what you think. And let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum up about 6.5% today, looking good. If we break the 21 in this last low, that means we're going to make a lower high or lower low at about 1525. I would expect us to come all the way back down to 1460. If we break 1460, I expect us to come back down to the top of this red zone. As you see, as soon as we broke out of our red zone, we flew. RSI, bullish control zone right now. Below its signal line, if we do break down out of this bullish control zone, I would expect us to break this 21. MACD, getting some retests. Are we going to cross? Or, if we break this last low in the MACD, that would be a confirmed cross to the downside. I would expect us to get quite the pullback. Possibly down to the 21, maybe even the 50 at 1460. All right, BBWP obviously is at the upper region, printing some dark red bars, starting to come off, cross below its moving average. We could consolidate here for a minute, being held up by the 21. So we could go sideways here for a minute as the 21 works its way up. All right, so let's check the stochastic. Right now, you're finding resistance on a bullish demand order block. Stochastic crossing to the downside. If we enter back into the bullish control zone, that's going to be another variable saying that we could have a pullback. Like I said, we could consolidate here for a while, and then we'll come back to it. Let's move on to Solana. Okay, so Solana, respecting our purple zone pretty much. Let's go ahead and, can we move it? Yes, we can. I'm going to go ahead and move this up to right there. And that's what we're looking at. We did respect exactly on the bottom of it. We had a pullback, respected the bottom of the purple zone exactly. Right now we're being held up by the 21. Now be careful of the BART, okay? Be careful of the BART because this sucker's going sideways right now. We don't want to drop back down to the bottom of this purple zone right here at 29.50. Because if that happens, I would expect a small bounce to the $29, but ultimately I think we would come back down to these lows. 28.25. Right now you are below your signal line on the RSI. Got a rejection out of the bullish control zone, working your way down to the neutral median line. As your MACD crossed your signal line, negative momentum is pretty stable. Strong downside curvature. BBWP getting rejected from its moving average. So we're probably going to go sideways a little bit more, maybe being held up by the 21. If we break the 21, we're probably going to come down to 30.40. And if we break that, next stop, 29.50. Okay, so like I said, be careful of the BART. If you drop below the 21, that could initiate the BART and drop below this 50, and the BART would be confirmed if we got down in 29.50. Now, what happens then, we'll come back to, because we're gonna come back to that and see what the story of the market is at that point. So right now, you're being rejected, finding some resistance at a bearish supply block as your stochastic is trying to cross to the downside. Okay, so you're still in the bullish control zone, but if you do break this last low in the stochastic, probably going to exit that bullish control zone, probably going to get a pullback down to about 30.15. And this is on the 4 hour. So watch the levels on the 1 hour, watch the levels on the 4 hour. You know, if you break, like I said, if you break the 50, basically 30.40, you're probably going to get a bounce at 30.15, probably come back up, get rejected from the 50, then work your way down. Now, the bullish case is that you break this last wick high on a closure at about 32.40. If that happens, that's going to be major resistance, by the way. You got all these lows coming in. I mean, we hit major resistance there. I would expect this to come up to $33, though. Basically, where this POC, point of control on the VPVR here to your right, which measures horizontal volume at a certain price level. If we can break that, I would expect us to come up to 34.40, and then we come back to it. That would be the extremely bullish case. A lot of this is going to depend on what Bitcoin does right now. Bitcoin falls, so does the market. Bitcoin pumps, so does the market. Right now, Ethereum's up 7% right now. You know, Bitcoin's up, 3.5%. So stay nimble right now because, like I said, if we drop below 19,700, shit's going to get ugly. Okay? Once again, if you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. Join the damn Discord. It is the place to be. All right? Everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.